Yep, there we go. All right. Well, hello, everyone. I have been on this conference. In this conference, I would much rather be strutting around, chatting with you. But as Tony said, I am thrilled to be here and I am looking at a way forward. And although I am in America, I grew up I also have a cottage in northern Michigan. So I always considered myself a bit Canadian as well. I sailed the Great Lakes into the North Channel, spent most of my summers up in Canada. So I'm thrilled to be here. But more importantly, I think what's really key is that you take everything you have heard from everyone today and you really unbundle it when you get off this. Whenever you go to any session, as Tony said earlier, we would rather be kind of bellying up to the bar and chatting and talking about the speakers and the breakout sessions, but you need to do that with other people. So if you attended it, but somebody else didn't, then go home and chat with your colleagues, talk to your family. The key is that we are in a position where we really do want to really, really, really reunite. This is going to come to an end. My heart tells me I am truly not just a glass full, and I don't care what anybody says. So I was in Dubai on the second week of March when this all kind of came out. I kept saying, 14 days to flatten the curve. I've been in Asia. I probably spend, I would say, I don't know, probably 50% of my life is outside of the US. And I've been through H1N1, swine flu, bird flu during the Olympics in Rio. I was down working at the Copacabana Palace, helping them deal with the Zika virus. And I kept just sailing through. And I would say to my team, this is fine. Well, this was a bit of a wake-up call. And as far as I'm concerned, it did shake us to our roots, but it only shook me for a little bit of time. And I want to tell you how I've refocused and I reimagined, because I truly believe it's time to move past living in this crisis. I can't take it. I have moved and I've prepared for my next moves. So I was in Dubai. They were literally showering the streets with Clorox. I was there doing a huge keynote speech, working with some of our hotel clients. And then I had to fly to London and Switzerland and then Rome. And if you remember, Italy was like, things are falling apart. I mean, I had to say to the other trainer, I said, well, we're going to keep going until they actually tell us to stop so that we could do the job. We were working with a huge DMC in Rome. So I looked at the other trainer on my team. I said, well, the only good news is we get to eat in the best restaurants because there's like no one here but us. I believe that my ability to not really pivot doesn't work for me. I'm adaptable. I've been adaptable my whole life. I grew up on an army base, a nuclear army base, clearly in the US. My dad was transferred every 2 to 3 years of my life with Shell Oil Company. My mom never let us move in the summer because she said you have to be thrown into the school so that you can meet people. So my life has been adaptable the entire time. I now live in Southern California, but I spend last year 11 days in my own bed. This year, I've spent more time in my own bed than I cared to spend. But starting May 1, my team and I started going on the road and we jumped on planes. We were some of the first people out to help open up our resorts and our hotels for our clients that needed help. And that's when I knew that this is not the new normal. This is our next normal, because it is not going to be the way I live my life. And I guarantee you, and you can all follow me and then you can give me feedback that I was full of it, but I believe that we won't be wearing masks forever. I believe that our clients are pent up. They want to travel, incentive travel and experience and all the things that we have done our whole life, they want to do. So I can share how we made a difference with our clients in the restaurants. And then I'll tell you how I've made a difference on the road. Here, 6 weeks in Pennsylvania, working at a beautiful resort in Nemacolin, have not gone home since then. We've all been here. It's like a big sorority house for 6 weeks. But how we made a difference. I returned back to California on March 16th. We kept our restaurant open until I just kept acting like I didn't even understand it. Because really, let's be honest, okay? It's not like right now we're having fires right now around my house and area in Orange County, California. Look at the news, you know. We know what to do in that case. We know how to evacuate. We have everything planned. Another hurricane's getting ready to hit New Orleans. They know what to do. But there was no book on COVID. Let's be clear. There was no, oh, let me open my COVID manual and see what I'm going to do for my restaurant. Now, granted, we're a 150 seat restaurant, USDA prime steak and sustainable seafood, but we're sold out 7 nights a week, even at the rail. And I'm not kidding. We've had it for 18 years. And in Fickle, Orange County, California, that's a big deal. Top 100 in open table, top 100 in travel and leisure. So I said to Dave, my partner, I said, so the deal is, let's not shut down until they actually come to the door with like, I don't know, like a fine or a badge or, so we stayed open. And about April 1, people were closing all around us. And the health department said, you actually have to close down. I said, oh, okay. We didn't know when the day was. I didn't know if we got an email, a memo. We shut the restaurant down. We had to shut it down for 3 weeks because that was the state of California. In those 3 weeks, we totally rearranged our life. We created a takeout window that looked like the biggest, coolest concierge, a desk you've ever seen. Funny, in California, in Orange County, you couldn't stand over the threshold in my restaurant prior to COVID with a cocktail in your hand because it was like out toward the street. COVID, no problem. Cocktails to go. The police department's across the street. I kept walking over saying, now, I just would like to confirm, can we do cocktails to go? Absolutely, you're fine. Now, 7 months in, I continue talking to the chief of police. I don't know how you're going to put that genie back in the bottle because now we got the coolest drive-up bar you've ever seen. Our takeout window is doing more revenue than we would ever have imagined. We got a lane of traffic. We got the city to give us a lane of traffic, six parking stalls, and we created the coolest outdoor deck. Now, again, it's Orange County, California. Weather's pretty good. I mean, it's going to get a little chilly, but we can have heat lamps and umbrellas, the whole bit. I can tell you why I know, to Eric's point, why price is not about a COVID rate. There's no COVID pricing. We did not lower our pricing. And in fact, in some cases, because of struggling to get some of our local sourced food and what we needed to do, some of it was actually more money. As you know, there was a meat shortage because somewhere in our country, somebody said, oh, we had to shut down all the meat packing places. Now, I actually own a 200-acre cattle farm in Iowa. So, when people say farm to table, I'm living that, all right? So I basically said, we're not changing the pricing. So we've never been open on Easter or Passover or any of those family holidays simply because we can't be open during those holidays because everybody goes to see their families. But what we recognized was we were going to do takeout. So we put 4 different kinds of menus together for people that would love the ham or the lamb or the vegan or the pasta. We made more money and more profit than we made on New Year's Eve the year before. So we know it worked. We know that we reimagined and we made a difference. Our customers loved every single bit of it. Now, what that takes into place is trust. So all of you listening here, whether you are working, I was on one of the dialogue dens. Some people are still furloughed. Some people have all their clients that are not working. You're in Canada. You have different laws than we have. We have states that, if you go into New York, it's 14 days. You've got to know that the one thing that I believe, and I've always believed, this is not just COVID, it's about trust. I have always been that person that said, I will engage and I will be out with my customers, hence why I've flown 10 million miles. A customer says, I need to see you and I need to see you in Geneva, Switzerland. I'm on a plane. I think we need to get out of our own way. Too many people have gone dark. Too many people are in the biggest pity pool of their life. I talk to them all the time. I just did a webinar yesterday with a group of travel advisors in the luxury space, global travel advisors based all over the world. And I had a very young gentleman. Now I know he's young because he told me his age, just to be clear. Okay. I mean, I could be young too. I'm just not going to tell you my age. And he basically said, just so you know, I am never going to travel again. I'm never getting on a plane. I looked at him. I said, don't ever say that out loud again. He said, well, I can. And he started to have a moment with me. I love when people bring it on. You know what I mean? I'm like, really? Really? I said, so you're going to get on the phone with a customer who's wanting to go on a trip and say, well, I never would travel again. I said, either get a new job or don't say that again. And I meant it seriously. I get there are people at risk. My parents are 86 years old. They're in Houston. I do not want them to get on a plane. I don't want to put them at risk. I'm going to try to go back for American Thanksgiving and see them. But I've been COVID tested twice a week where we are. So I have my app. I've never in my life been more excited to every day wake up and see my negative COVID test. I mean, I have to say I've never looked at testing like that before. I mean, it reminded me back in the days when you really didn't want to be pregnant and you were looking at the test. I'm like, wow, every day, excellent. Here's the point. If you go dark, if you act scared, so will everybody around you. And this is not our industry. We've got to do educational marketing. That's not just about Clorox and cleaning. Please, all of you that have businesses, restaurants, hotels, tours, buses, coaches, I believe that you were clean before that. Now the planes, at least here in the States, they did get a bit of a wake-up call, and that was good. But you need to do educational marketing. You need to do things that get people excited. So I'll tell you what I mean. I had another group of leisure customers, of travel agents, and I said, so here's what we're going to do. Their businesses fall into like it's gone. Selling cruises, selling Europe, there was nothing. So I said, what we're going to do is I want you to pick 5 of your best clients that spent the most amount of money last year in 2019 that took either a cruise, the same cruise. So pick 5 that took the same cruise, or 5 that went to Italy, or 5 that went to Canada. Just pick 5 of your best customers that went to similar destinations. I said, there's 3 things that always happen in planning any trip. The first is the anticipation of it, the excitement, whether it's business travel, whether it's a meeting, whether it's incentive, or whether it's leisure on your own, anticipation. The second is the actual trip. And during any trip, whether it's business or not, you're taking pictures, or maybe just with one thumb with that iPhone. But the most important part of the 3 steps is the memories, because that's what everybody remembers. So I asked the travel advisors to ask their customers, consumers, to send in their favorite picture of that trip. Now, you would have thought I asked them to do some ridiculous thing. They looked at me like this. Okay, that's ridiculous. We're not going to reach out to these people and ask this during COVID. I said, well, why not? Were they not your customer? How long were they your customer? Well, like some of them, 10 years. I said, you're not going to check in and say, hello, how are you? You're not going to ask how things are going. And you're not, going to say, why don't we share some of the love of the trip that we did? I've got 4 other clients that went to the same place you went in Italy. Would you love to look at some of their pictures? Every one of them said yes. So I facilitated the first one because the travel advisor, they were scared to death. They're like, I don't even know what to say. So we just did a basic Zoom. The people sent the pictures in. I put the pictures up, and I let every one of the 5 couples share their story. I remember this and that. We had the best pasta and this, and they shared their story. And then I showed 5 new pictures of where they're going to go in 2021. We booked 2 definite pieces of business just because we rethought how we were going to reach out. I am not going to let the competition be seen more than me, and neither should you. You've got to look at your competitive set and understand that you're going to change that competitive set. Whoever you are at this meeting right now, you have to change it, because you're not going to compete with the same hotels. You're not going to compete with the same tour operators. You're not going to compete with the same travel writers. You are going to really be looking at how to thrive versus survive. There are people hanging on, just hanging on. Just stop. I want you to put together a plan, and I want you to look at it this way. I need new markets. There are a lot of markets that are doing business. So right now for Canada, a lot of domestic travel. In the States, domestic travel. In mainland China, domestic travel. All the high net worth clients that traveled outside of China are now going to all the luxury hotels in China. They never went there. They went to Switzerland. They went to North America. They went on cruises. So for once, our actual local domestic customer is seeing what we all have to offer in our own country. But this will change. And when it does, those customers that loved you domestically will fly the coop. And they will be back on the cruises. They will be back visiting other places. And they, unfortunately, have a short memory. They'll forget. because they'll be on. Travel restrictions will be lifted. There'll be vaccines out, and the world will go, COVID? Because think about it. I know people here in the States that forget about 9/11. So I guarantee you, short memory. So what you have to do is look for some new business. Do not ignore your international business. Don't ignore it. Just because they can't come there right now, don't ignore it. Be reaching out to them. Be clever and creative. Have innovative ideas to share knowledge. Share new things you're doing. You know, when I listen to the chef, I can't wait to go to Prince Edward Island. I cannot wait because I actually love Canada. And I love the whole concept, the outdoors, the oysters. I was trying to get that down with the green. I don't know if I could do it on the real fire, or could I do the Amazing Race? But I did love the poem at the end. I really tried to memorize that. I thought I should take some exercise classes. But here's the thing. Every single one of you have a new story to tell. You know, Eric said it, the value propositions, your unique selling propositions, everything that is different to you is different today than it was. So you have to go beyond your customers' expectations. You've got to really understand that during this last 7 months, we've lost connection. We've lost connection with family, with friends. I mean, after about 2 months, let's be honest, everyone was sick to death of the COVID cocktail party. You know, the Zoom cocktail party. People are like, I'm so done with it. I can't wait to come and have a cocktail. Now, in California, in our restaurant, I mentioned we were closed for 3 weeks. We opened, excellent, 50% occupancy, all our outdoor space. We've been open once, closed down, open twice, closed down, open 3 times, and we just got closed again for 25% because that's just how we roll in California. So we have just created these hubs of parking lot cocktail parties, and people are loving them. I think I might name a restaurant after that. It's kind of a cool idea. See, the working from home, unless you worked, if you were a freelance on the Dialogue Den, Deb and I, she's a freelance writer, and she specifically said, I've been working from home. It's normal. There's a lot of salespeople that have been remote salespeople working from home for their entire career. This was no new news to them. But you know what was new news? The cat walking across the laptop and acting like that's okay, because now everybody's like, oh, that's fun because you have your cat. If that would have happened before COVID, it'd be like, oh, I'm so sorry. It was bring your cat to work day today. Dogs barking in the back, kids screaming. Now it's normal because homeschooling, all of this stuff going on. But what's missing? What's missing is the spark. What's missing is the love, the hugs, the kisses on the cheek. And what's missing is the brainstorming. We can do some of this like this, but it is that human to human connection that is going to spark that activity. So I can share with you, about 60% of our business is all hospitality, travel, tourism, travel agents, hotels, airlines, net jets, all that kind of stuff. But then 40% is corporate. So we know that many, many clients are going back to work. Some offices, Facebook, Pinterest, some are shutting down huge offices in San Francisco and Silicon Valley. But we know that some are coming back because they want to bring people back. And we have a lot of real estate clients that are our customers. So we know how they're pivoting and changing what the office space looks like. Look at WeWork. Look at the whole concept of everybody comes together, sits together with people you don't know, and you chat and you brainstorm with strangers. It's like, that's not happening now, right? So some that are coming back are Apple in certain places, not necessarily huge headquarters, but in certain places because we have people on our team and we work with them. Amazon, Goldman Sachs, Google. But not everyone. We know Facebook, Fujitsu, Siemens. Many of these are not coming back, and they've made it very clear we're not coming back. So the ones that are coming back for a very big reason. Now, remember, this is U.S. based. So please bear with me because I am an American, okay? Due to the pandemic, there's been an incredible loss of creativity. No, there has been. Because people get zoomed out. They sit like this. They're in meetings. I was up this morning, 6:00. Both Kim from my team and I did a meeting with everyone from Ireland. Ireland's been put back down into a shutdown. The UK, working with a big hotel group, only one in the States. And they said, what's hard is the brainstorming, the energy, the kind of like excitement that you get when you're looking at each other. And sometimes this doesn't do it. You see, your clients also need ideas. There are clients, I now figured out that there are some clients that I thought were the most creative. Oh no, they're literally looking at me and saying, could you help with this? Could you give us some ideas? And that is what's put us on the map, because we've become a solution company, not a training company, a solution company. They're desperate to benchmark. We're putting together hotels with like CBRE, which is our, real estate client that we work with, Coldwell Banker, together with NetJets. We've put luxury travel advisor groups together with automotive. Automotive is one of our biggest market segments that we do all of their client service and leadership. We have come up with ideas to help bridge the gap so that without a doubt, people could start to come back together. And it matters. Face to face matters. Hybrid's going to be all right, but you best know how to do it right, because it can be really clunky and it can be tough. And you can't really, it's like when we're in the green room, it's like, wow, I was kind of whispering at one point and then I realized I'm not really behind the curtain. Here's the deal. The more teams really look at each other, the more problems can be solved. Now, you can do this on Zoom, but I challenge you to make sure your camera's on. You know how many corporate events I'm on and the camera's not on? No. See, in my company, it's a non-negotiable. We've been doing team meetings, Microsoft team meetings and Zoom way before COVID, because we have offices all over the world. So our lineups and everything had to be together. They all had to be on camera and they couldn't have the messy bun. They had to be camera ready, get ready to go to work. No fuzzy slippers. I really don't know what you're wearing from the bottom up, but from the top, you've got to look like you're ready to go. Confidence is boosted when you're together. When you ask questions and you engage, there's more trust. And really, there is more team building. Everybody wonders about team building. Think about Google. And if you've never visited any of their campuses, their free cafeteria is not just a perk. And most of Silicon Valley is not a perk of a free cafeteria. All their little fun ping pong areas and everybody gets excited is Amazon. It's just a way to bring people together so they can talk while they're waiting in line and create the coolest ideas you've ever seen. There's chalkboards everywhere so people can just write the most random things down. You talk to people outside of your departments and it creates innovation. Some of the best sessions I've been on have had nothing to do with hospitality, because it's amazing. Because, when people say, well, we're all in the same storm, I'm like, well, yeah, maybe, but we're not in the same boat, because people in construction and mortgage and banking in the States, oh yeah, they're doing just fine and having no problem. So what does this have to do with you? If you don't have a team, I want you to find your own circle of influence. I want you, after this whole session, right, this whole educational day, to find 5 or 6 people that could help be your thought leaders. They can be outside your business. You must trust them. I want you to have random conversations with them. That's what Apple has done to always be successful. Those spontaneous meetings, those water cooler chats, those are the things that keep the excitement going. But as we enter 2021, you better get curious, because those that say it can't be done better get out of the way of those of us that are doing it, because it's going to happen. I'm never going to emerge as a deal maker. There is no COVID price. I'm never going to stop asking questions. I mean, I am not exaggerating. This is what I did just last week. Now, I know, because I'm American, many of you from Canada are sitting there going, oh my gosh, this is why we have an issue sometimes with those Americans. I was flying from Santa Barbara through Denver back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Now, I've got cards that are almost like laminated, so I can wipe them off with a Clorox wipe right in front of you so they know they're safe. So I'm in first class, and all of a sudden we're about ready to close the doors, and a gentleman gets on, and he's in a full suit. I mean, suit, tie, jacket. So exciting. Haven't seen that in a while. The flight attendant said, can I hang up? He had a trench coat on. Can I hang up your coat? Absolutely. And I can take your suit jacket as well. He said, oh, thank you very much. She said, are you a businessman? Like, just like that. And I'm sitting right behind him. Now, I was getting so involved in it, even though I know it's not, my business, but I'm curious. He said, yes, I'm a businessman. She said, on a business trip? He said, yeah. She got on the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a businessman on a business trip on this flight. The whole plane erupted in clapping. So I knew I had to make my way in front of him, mask to mask, of course, following all the rules. I had my business card and my Clorox wipe. I stood up and I said, I just am so excited that they highlighted you because I'm a business traveler too. I'm just not as dressed up. I think I'm going to do that from now on just to make a point. I said, but here's the deal. Here's my card. I don't know what business you're in, but if you're traveling, you might want to talk to me. He goes, oh, I'm in banking. I said, oh, I do a lot of work in the call centers for Barclays and, a lot of different banks. And he goes, oh, okay, that was just last week. We're already talking to him. So when people tell me, don't be curious, oh yeah, I got to tell you, I ask great questions. I'm never going to wait for the phone to ring. I'm never going to wait for the inquiry. I'm never going to be transactional. I am always going to become the person that is looking for new business and constantly putting myself out there. So I would like you to be deliberate when you leave this education day. I would like you to be optimistic. Come on. We will get through this. We will make it. But you have to have the grit and the mental attitude to say you can do it. But you have to prepare a value proposition for your clients. What are their issues? What actions can you take to help them? And do you have the wherewithal to actually give them the proper solutions? That's the big issue. Many salespeople have gone dark. They've done nothing. They're waiting as soon as everything opens up, as soon as our business is open, our restaurant, our hotel. What? No. We need to be scrappy, my friends. Scrappy. 100 minimum touch points a week. You got to keep going strong. We all know that about 84% of all decision making comes from a referral. I haven't marketed one time in my entire life throughout the time I started the company all those years ago. You got to listen to your clients every part of their life. I asked a client the other day, this was probably about 3 months ago, is there anything I could help you with? She said, you can read to my 7-year-old once a week. I said, okay. Now, what was I supposed to say? I was just kidding. I just thought maybe it was more for work. She sent me the list of books within like 20 minutes of getting off. She said, here you go. Now, every Wednesday at 5:00 Pacific Standard Time, I do my 15-minute Zoom call with her 7-year-old. She calls me Aunt Cindy now. She loves me. I am in front of my customers more than my competition, I can assure you. So in the meantime, begin to expand that digital conversation. Pay attention. Get physically together as much as you can. Don't let yourself be afraid. Expand those conversations. Be outside. Now, I know it's getting a little chilly. I'm kind of in that weather too. But, there are some areas where heat lamps will work. But go outside of your discipline so that you can figure out how they're working. Clients are starting to become very creative. And I'm going to tell you, no one is going to dominate unless we get some ideas on the table. And you really, really need to do that. I do want you to get physically together as much as possible. Follow the rules. Allow some of this digital interaction to help reinforce smaller meetings, but do get together. Remember, it takes 6 to 7 times to touch a prospect before they ever become a customer. This is a great time. We know people are answering calls and talking. You need a fresh perspective. We won't be COVID forever. All the social media you do, be positive in it. I've seen so much negative social media, I can't even take it. We know there'll be screeners and waivers forever. I sign my life away. I go to get my hair done. Oh, have you been around nobody? No, because I haven't. I'm not going to lie. Events are going to take on a new look, but I'm looking through a different set of lens. But skills matter, my friends. So if you have people that work for you, make sure they know how to hunt. Make sure they know how to ask good questions. Make sure they know how to sell with a story. Confidence, help them overcome the objections that they have. But remember, clients want to have experiences way more than seeing just the material things. You got to make changes for this. You've got to jump in and help them, because although virtual selling is essential, if you've seen some of the virtual site visits that I've seen, it scares you. You've got to improve your performance. You've got to practice. These Zoom things aren't that easy. You can get somebody to get on a call and make a Zoom call, but practice with your boss. Salespeople can do a lot more site visits virtually. Here's an example of how we're creating some collaboration with our clients. We're working together with them to show them how to set up their office, how to do things where you can socially and really professionally distance yourself and make it work. And they're loving it. We're helping. We have many clients overseas. We have huge clients in Korea. We've done a lot of webinars and helping them look at how they can interface with their employee cafeterias, their social lounges, and do it in the right way. There is going to be a continued cultural shift, but it doesn't mean we're not coming back. We have to take advantage of everything at our disposal now. There are more impromptu meetings. There are more things that we can do. And you got to empower people to do them. Don't scare your employees. Don't scare your team. Remember, using your personal judgment at this point is not going to do any good for anybody. So a couple final thoughts. Everybody wants to jump in now with new ideas, right? They all need to jump in now. Think about AstraZeneca. They literally put a campaign out to the entire company and said, everybody is in research and development. That's what I said. It's time to think outside the hotel, think outside the DMC. You know this company very well, and so do I. The CEO is actually from Iowa. It is a Canadian company, but look what they've done. They've gone shopping during COVID because the sun never sets on the night owl. That they are out there and they have literally continued to grow and grow and grow. And this is a company that makes a big difference. So remember, find new business, stay present, stay involved in organizations like SITE. Don't go dark. Come up with ideas to help people move ahead. Be persistent. Nothing in this world will ever take the place of persistence. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how talented you are. It takes good old-fashioned guts to be able to press on, and you have to be positive. So with that, I will go ahead. I will turn it over to Tony. I much rather be on a stage where people go, yay! But at this point, I'll let Tony go, yay. And thanks to SITE Canada for putting on the most incredible day of education.